Hello everyone. Today we are going to explore Git and GitHub. So what is Git? Git is a version control system. It means that it is a complex software that is being used to manage a software version. It is used to track changes and who made changes. It means that we can track who made what changes in the code. It is useful for code collaboration and requires familiar with command line. It means that we should be familiar with the command line in order to use Git. We will explore that and we'll see that how Git actually works in practical. What is GitHub? So GitHub makes tool that uses Git on the cloud. So we can use the Git on the cloud using the GitHub, right? So GitHub provides additional feature on top of Git for a smooth remote collaboration. So you can collaborate remotely. Apart from that, the Git features, there are some additional GitHub features that is very useful. We can explore that. GitHub is the largest host of source code in the world and it is owned by Microsoft. So I believe this is a brief introduction about Git and GitHub. So now we are going to explore the practical uses of Git and GitHub. So first we will cover the Git and then the GitHub. So stay tuned till the end. So let's get started. I'm using MacBook. If you're using a different operating system like Windows or Linux, you can use the same Git command and follow along because the Git commands are same across the platform. The first command which we are going to use, that is git ---- version, or we can type git -v. It is going to show the version. It means that the Git is installed in our system. If you would not have Git, it is not going to show that. The next command which we are going to use, git status. So it means that it is going to show what is the status of your Git, whether how many files are being tracked, what is not being tracked, right? What is the status of your Git? Here it is showing error because the Git is not yet initialized. So what we need to do in order to use the Git, we need to initialize the Git inside that repo where we want to track the file or folders. So what we can do here, we can go ahead and see that in which directory we are in right now. So I am at desktop right now. So what we are going to do, you can see that behind this is the desktop. So it is blank right now. So I'm going to create a directory here, make dir, and I'm just keeping any name. So let's take test git. So you can see that the test git folder has been created on the desktop. First get into that folder. So cd change directory test git. We are in now test git folder. So what we can do here, that we are going to initialize the git, and let me show you. Is it empty, right? There's no file in it. So I'm going to create a couple of files so that we can perform git commands. The touch is a Linux command and it is used to create a new file. So what I'm going to do, I'm just going to keep any random name. Let's take py.py for Python file and touch node.js. I've created two files here. You can see that there are two files here, right? Both files are empty. I can also show you here that you can see that the two files have been created. Now we are going to initialize the Git inside this directory. So what is the command for that? It is git init. For a git init, it is going to initialize the Git repo inside this directory. You can see that this is the path for Git. So we have already initialized the Git. Now we're gonna check that status. So we will see that the files are being untracked. You can see that these two files which we have created here, that is showing here untracked file. Nothing has to commit. So what we need to do to perform a commit in the means that we are final to make changes. We'll explore that. So what we need to do, the first command, like we have to add that file, so we need to type git add and the file name. Like if you want to add the node.js, if you did not get any error, it means that the file has been added. So what we're gonna do now, that we are going to check again the status. Now you can see that this new file, it means that this file has been added and this file is still not being tracked. So now what we're gonna do, that we can use this command, right? If we want to remove git rm and -- cached. So and the file name. If I'll type node.js, now I'm going to show you the git status. You can see that now the both file is not being tracked, right? If we want to add both files together, or what were the file and folders you want to add all, so you just need to type add all -- all, right? Or you can type hyphen capital A for all, or you can just type dot, right? The all file will be get added. Let's go ahead and check the status. So what is the status? Now you can see that both files have been added. So it is showing that ready for commit. So what is that command? The command says git commit, right? What is commit? I just wanted to explain you a bit. It is the most important command that at this command suggests that we are at final stage to create a snapshot for the changes. Like we can say that the version that we are going to create, that we have finalized the changes, now we are going to commit, and we need to mention that message git -am, and then in double quotes we can write that relevant message for this commit, so that other can understand that what was the reason why you have made changes, because the git is going to show that who made that changes. So what we need to do, git commit and -m, and then you need to type a message. So adding files, okay, a snapshot has been created for this commit which I have made that. So it is a point which have been created. We can refer back to this point. We will explore later on. Now we can go ahead and check the status, right? So it will give you more clarity. So now you can see that on branch main, and we will explore branch as well. And nothing is to commit. Working tree is clean. It means that there is no changes have been made after the commit has happened. Now if we want to make some changes, like if I'm going to write, both files are empty, so I'm going to just write something. So I'm using a nano editor. You can manually, you can go ahead and do it from here GUI. I'm using this terminal because I'm more comfortable with this. This is JavaScript file which I have created here. Now what I'm going to do, I'm just going to save it with the node.js and close it. So now the status is showing here that this file have been modified. It means that there is some changes which is showing on Git, right? So what we need to do, we need to again add this file and then commit. This is the process. Every time that you are going to make any changes, you can add, right? And then once you are done with that, just make a final commit, right? So if I want to add that, or if you want to make another changes, we can do that. Nano, what was that? Py.py. So I'm going to just is Python file, right? So I have written Java file and now I have written Python file. So both files have been modified. So no, let's go ahead and check the status. So both file is showing that it has been modified. So now what I'm going to do now, that I'm going to add, I'm just showing you the repeat because this is the main functionality of the Git, right? Every time you will be doing it. What we can do here, that we have already modified, now we have to add this. So we have to add, because adding it means that you are staging a file, right? If the file would not be added, it would not get committed. So it is showing that modified, but once I will add it, it is going to show that the file is ready to commit, which we have already seen it, right? So what we're gonna do here, so I'm going to use the shortcut command that you can just type git commit -a. A means that already added file, right? The file which have been already added, that can be, you can put, you can just commit in a single line. Then you need to type message, then you need to type the message updated both file content, right? Now I'm going to commit. Now you can see that the commit has been made. We're gonna show you the status. You will see that the main branch and the working tree is clean, right? The question is that how can you check that how many changes, who made the changes, what was that? So in order to check that, we have another command that is called the git log, right? So it is showing that this is the author and this is the time. This was that hex code of this commit, right? And this is the message which you have written. So last commit was that updated both files, and prior adding files. We have made the 2 commits so far. I'm going to show you that another things also about the log. If you type hyphen, if you're typing number 1, right? If you're typing any number 2, number 3, so whatsoever the number you're typing, it is going to show that only recent. Like if I'm typing, I have already 2 commits, so I'm just want to see the 1 commit, git log -1. So it is just showing the recent one, right? If I will be typing it git log 2, you can see the both is showing, right? There is also one another command git with the git log -1 line, right? If you type the 1 line -, it is going to show the 7-digit hex code of that commit, right? What was that commit message? So only this thing is going to show, not going to show the author and the time and all, right? Now I'm going to tell you about that, the author, right, which is showing here. So what can you do with this author? So there is a command, it is going to cover that one or two commands together. So git let's go ahead and first configure the different username. So this is the author which you are seeing here. It is configured with that global, with the system. So how can you configure your username and email address? Because that whenever you are making any commit, it is gonna take your username and email address with that commit. So you need to configure that. So there is a command git config, then you need to hyphen global if you want to set one username and email address for entire Git repo which you're gonna create on your system. So you can configure at once and you can use it like it has already been configured. So this is how it is showing here, right? And then what we need to do, user dot name, right? And then we need to type a name. Whatever name I'm gonna type, it is going to replace this name. I think it is best to set up a local config, local username and password for this. Local, it means that uh, we are going to set up username and email address for this repo only. For the other repo, we're gonna be using the global one, or we're gonna set another new one. So how can you set that? So git config user dot name, and you need to type like I'm going to say YouTube, right? This is that username, and the git config user dot email youtube at gmail.com. So now I have already configured that. If I will be committing anything new, so this is going to use this command. So I'll show you that also. If you want to reset this user ID and password which we have committed the last commit, so how can we do that? So there is a command git commit, right, hyphen amend, right? It is mean that we are going to amend. What we are going to amend? Hyphen reset hyphen author. If you want to put any because you are making a commit, right, so you have to leave there some message, right? So what we can do here, that we need to type hyphen no hyphen edit. It means that we are not going to put any message, any new message. Whatever that message was there, just it is just going to reset the author. So just type it here. Now I'm going to show you the git log. You can see that author has been changed, YouTube and youtube at gmail.com, and the previous author was the same. If I'm going to make any comment afterwards, that all is going to be committed with this user ID and password because it has been set up for local users, right? So we have covered that amend command as well. This is how that we can amend commit as well. Like if I'm going to make some changes, like suppose what I'm going to do, I'm going to just modify, I'm going to add another file, right? So let's go ahead and add it. Touch html dot html. So I have created another file. You can see that html.html. Now if I'm going to show you the status, you can see that this file is not being tracked. So I will have to add this file. What I'm going to do, git add, and the file name html.html. Now this file have been added. If you will check the status, sorry about that, git status. So you can see the new file have been added. So what we need to do, we need to make new commit, right? Because this file have been added, now we can commit that. So git commit m, and I'm going to type any message like file added, right? So you can see that this has been added, but if you're going to show, if you're gonna check the git log, you will see that file added, right? Adding files. So it is quite confusing, right? So message is not clear. So how can we edit that? So in order to edit that, we can do the same command git commit hyphen amend. Then we are going to edit that message, right? So m, and we need to type html file added. Now I'm going to show you that status git log. You can see that this is the same, right? It has been edited. We will check git status. You can see that the tree is clean, right? So this is how that you can use the amend command. If you want to, change that username, if you want to unset that, so there is a command which you can use, git config hyphen unset, and then you need to provide. If you want to unset the username, you can just type unset username. You just type up arrow and just type email. So now if I'm going to make any commit, so what's going to happen? It is again going to take the global one which we have set up earlier, right? That has been set up here. If you want to edit that global one, we just need to use the global git config hyphen global and then unset username and password. So it is going to unset, sorry, username and email address. So it is going to unset the global setting which we have here, right? So I'm not going to edit that. Let me show you what author name it is showing after making commit. So I'm just going to add another file, git css.css. I'm just keeping any random names. So let's go ahead and check. The file have been added. So let's go ahead and check a status. The css.css is being untracked. So we can add that git add css.css. Now we are going to make commit, git commit -m css file added. Now I'm going to show you the log. The first commit was made by this author, and these two have been made by YouTube author, and this one have been made by the img git author. If you want to delete any file that has already been committed, then you can use this command git rm and the file name. So let's take css.css. So this file has been removed. If I'll go ahead and show you the status, you can see that the file has been deleted. If we do not want to delete or if you want to undo that delete, what we can do, git checkout head, then you need to type the file name css.css. So now this file has been updated. You can see that a status working tree is clean. There is also a command which you can see here that you can use the git restore and staged. For this, if you are going to use this command, you need to run this command twice. I'll show you that example. Let's delete another file, git rm, and the file name which I'm going to use, just take the same file name css. Now this file has been deleted. If we want to restore, then we can use that git restore hyphen staged. It means that we are just, sorry, the file name is missed. What was the file name? css.css. So this file has been staged now. It means it is still deleted. If we will go ahead and show you the status, right? The deleted. Now what we need to do, we need to run the same command again, git remove, sorry, git restore hyphen, and here that what we need to do, we just need to type the file name like css.css. Now I'll go ahead and show you the status. The working tree is clean, right? So you can use that any command to undo that. Either you can use the restore stage and then restore file name, or you can just type git checkout head and the file name, right? Now that we are going to show you that another important thing is that git ignore, right? How can we use the git ignore? First we need to create the git ignore file, couth touch git ignore, right? The spelling is right. So touch git ignore. Now I have created a file with a git ignore. It is not going to show because it's a .git ignore. So how can we see that? ls-a. So git ignore itself is getting tracked, but the file extension, the file name or the folder which we are putting inside that git ignore, it will not be tracked. So let's go ahead and show you the example. I'll create another file, touch java.js, right? I'm creating another file, random file name. You can see that that file has been created, java.js. So what I'm going to do here, so I'm going to add this file inside the gitignore. So what I can do here, that I can open the gitignore file dot nano git ignore. Now I can just file the file name, or if we want that any specific extension, right? If we want to remove a star for all dot .js, it means that all the file with the ends with js will not be tracked, right? If we want that a specific file to be tracked, not to be tracked, then java.js, so this file will not get tracked, right? So there are a couple of ways that we can put the file names. So I'm not going to cover all the details, you can go ahead and explore that, right? So I'm just adding it. So control O, enter, control X. So now what I'm going to do here, that I'm going to just show you the status. You can see that the git ignore is there, but the JS is not showing untracked file because that is already mentioned in .git ignore. So what we need to do, we need to make another commit here. So git add dot git ignore. Now we have staged that, so we have to commit also. I'll show you the status. A new file has been added. So git commit name git ignore file has been added. Git ignore file added. Now I'll show you the log. You can see that. If we will go ahead and make any changes, nano java.js, this is Java file inside git ignore. Now I'm going to show you the status. So it is showing the working tree is clean. So I've made changes in this file JS, but it is not showing any. It is not showing here, right? Because that file is not being tracked. So anything is mentioned there. So this is what the git ignore is being used, because when we are working on any project, so there would be a couple of files that might not required for that. We can put those files and folders inside that .git ignore. So like I'm going to show you another, like I'm going to edit css.css. This is CSS file, right? Now if I'll go ahead and show you the status, you will see that there is a modified file, right? Because this file is being tracked, and if I had made changes in java.js, so it was showing no impact, right? Just because of that, that is in git ignore. I believe that you would have understand how git ignore works. Now we are going to use Git Revert, and there is a Git Reset. So these two commands are quite similar but have a little bit difference. So what actually Git Revert does, that it will take you back to that commit where you want to go, but it will keep your log intact, right? So it is going to be another commit with that revert commit, right? So it means that I will show you the practical so you can understand better. And what the reset does, it is going to wiped out all histories, and it will write the fresh history from where you are resetting it. So how can we perform that? I'll show you the practical. So what we are going to do, let's add this file which we have modified. So git add, so let's git commit hyphen a, then -m css content updated. Right, so commit has been done. Now I can go ahead and check string log. So log is there, right? CSS content is updated. Now we have to type the arrow down to come down, because there are lots of commit has been made. So now type Q to exit that. So what can we do now, that we are going to use Git Revert, right? So what happened? Git Revert, then you need to give head, right? and which head you want to go. If you're not providing anything, so it is going to revert with the recent changes, and you need to pass the no edit if you don't want to put any commit message, right? Like I said that it is going to be a commit with the revert no edit. You can see that it got reverted the CSS content updated. So if I'll go ahead and this is the comment which have been given, git log, you will see revert CSS. The revert has been added before that. The CSS content were added, and this is the content. So if I'll show you that status, type Q, the file nano, or just print the CSS file on the screen, css.css. You can see that it is empty, right? If I'll show you here nano, because you might be confused if it is not showing anything. You can see that it is empty, there is nothing, because we have already reverted that changes. Whatever we have made the changes, that has been reverted, right? But you can see that log file. I'll show you the short log, git log, one line. Sorry, spelling error. Git log hyphen one line. So now you can see that CSS content updated. This was the commit that is already here, and this is the new commit which has been done, the revert CSS content, right? So you can understand that the revert is going to take you to whatsoever that, like if I don't want to go there, I want to go to some other, like I want to go here, right? CSS file has been added. So if I want to go git revert head, then I have to give the tilde sign, it means that home, and from there one, it is going to be a head, and this is going to be a 1, 2, 3 and 4. So I'm just taking it 3. So it is asking for the comment, right? So you can type the same comment, or you can edit here, or you can do, it is a VI editor, revert CSS file added, right? If I'll go ahead and show you that status, one line, you can see that this has been added. If I'll go ahead and show you that status, sorry, yeah, git status, you will see that working T is clean. But if I'll show you that file ls, you can see that CSS file is not here, right? Because it was added here, it got reverted. The CSS file is not here. And I hope that it is making sense. The next we have Git Reset. So what reset does, it is going to wiped out the history. We have to copy the 7-digit code where we want to reset. From that point we want to reset whatever the changes we made afterwards. So it is going to appear from here. So then we can start working. So what we're gonna do here, let's go back to the first stage. Okay, so what we need to do, we just need to provide that short 7-digit code, which I already said that why we need that one line, because we have to provide the 7-digit code here. Git reset 7-digit code and enter, right? You can see that these two files have been modified, right? And that time it was modified, and it was unstaged at that time. So if I'll show you the git log, we just see that there is only one log. All log has been deleted. So there is no log, there is no history. Only thing is the file added, right? Git status, you can see that these two files were modified, right? And these two files have been untracked. That file is there, but it is being untracked. We have reset that file, so that is the reason it is untracked. On the first commit, if you remember that we have made that without any putting comment, right? It was a blank file, we have committed. If we want to commit, so git commit m, sorry, we need to mention that stage that file. So all that, it is only going to add these two files because these are untracked file. So a m, and I'm going to add message commit after reset. Now I'll show you the status. you can see that these two files are untracked and the working tree is clean, right, on the main branch, and these two files is being untracked. I'll show you the log, git log. You can see that there are two log commit after reset, right? I believe that we have covered that git uses which generally happen, what is the purpose and how we are being used. So now we are going to explore the another concept of git, that is called branch. So it is also very important because that what happen when we want to work on any project, so we do not want to make changes to the main branch. If we are making changes directly to the live project, so it is going to impact the users, right? To avoid that, what we need to, we can create a separate branch. So branch what actually does, they create a copy, right, copy of that original branch, and from that we can do any kind of updation, changes, deletion, whatsoever we want to do, we can do it, we can test it, we can find that it is done, then we will commit, and afterwards we can merge it, right? So we will explore that. First, what we need to do, we need to check the git branch. So currently we are in main branch, right, and the star is showing that we are in that main branch. There is only one branch. If there would have been any branch, it would have been showing here. So now how can we create a branch? So git branch and the branch name, like I'm taking first, I'll show you the git branch. Now you can see that the first branch is here, the main branch is here, right? But the main branch is checked out right now. If we want to switch to the branch, or if you want to check out the branch, what can we do? We want to create and switch to the branch. There is another command we can write in one line. So that is called git checkout -b is a branch, and we need to type the branch name. So let's type second. So you can see that switch to the new branch second. So it got created, the branch got created with that name second, and it got switched to that branch. If I'll show you the git branch, you can see that currently we are in second branch, from where we have created this branch, from the main branch. So all the things which we were there, all the things which was there, that has been copied to this branch. Now we can make changes, and once the changes is done, we can merge to the main branch so that our application can run smoothly. If I'll go ahead and show you git status, so it is showing that these two files are untracked, right? For this, currently whatever we are going to make changes, it is only going to impact to the second branch, not to the main branch. So let's go ahead and open nano. What was the file name? py.py, right? And I'm typing here, this update is from second branch, right? So just save it. Now I'll show you the status. You can see that it has been modified, right? I'll go ahead and make you the commit, git commit a py file was updated, py file updated from second branch, right? If I'll show you that has been already updated, right? If I'll go ahead and switch to how to switch to the another branch, you can use the git checkout, the branch name main, or you can type git switch main. So both is going to switch to that branch. Now we have switched to the main branch. If I'll go ahead and show you that file py.py, you can see that the quantity is not there, right? If I'll switch back to that git checkout second, I'm just using checkout here. Now I have switched to the second branch. If I'll show you that nano, I'll show you on the screen py.py. You can see that this file is updated from second branch. So how can we delete that branch? Like if we are not using it first branch, like git branch, you can see that the first branch is not being used. So if you want to delete that, so git branch -d is going to delete the branch, and then you need to type the branch name first. You can see that deleted branch first. So let's go ahead and show you the git branch. You only see the main and the second branch is here. Now we have worked with the branch. So what we can do here, that we have already made the changes. Now we think that it is the final, and now we want to merge to the original branch. So what we need to do, there is a merge and the rebase. So both are same, but it has quite difference. Like what actually does the rebase is going to create a fresh history, right? And what the merge actually does, it is going to merge is going to create a separate commit. So it is recommended do not use the rebase on the public branch. When you are working alone, then you can use it. So the command is the same, git rebase, and you need to just type that branch name, right? Which branch you want to rebase with that current branch. The current branch you are in the second, and you want to rebase the main, so you just need to type the main, right? Current branch is the second is up to date, right? So the previous file is updated, so that's why it is showing that it is updated. But if I switch to the main, git switch main, now I want to, I think I have typed spelling, git switch main. Now I switch to the main branch, and if we want to perform git rebase, I'll show you the log first. Git log. So there is only two logs, right? So if I'll go ahead and rebase, you can see that that file will be added here as well. So git rebase, what was that branch name? Second. Successfully rebased and updated reference, right? So the file has been updated. Now if I'll go ahead and now currently I'll show you that which branch I'm in. I'm on main, right? If I'll show you the same file, what was that? Cat py.py. This update is from the second branch, right? You can see that the update is available in main branch also because we have rebased it. So it means that it got rebased and created a separate history. So git log, you can see that that has been added on top of that. The previous commit was that, this commit has been added here, right? So this is how that we can use that merge also. So merge is going to, let's go ahead and make some changes. So I am in main branch. If I'm going to edit that nano node.js, so I'm going to update with this update is from main branch for merge. Okay, so now I'll show you the status. So it is modified. So we need to commit git a-m node file updated from main branch, right? Now this has been committed. Now I'll go ahead and show you the status. Git status. You can see that the main branch is ahead of second branch, right? So we want to merge the main branch to the second branch. So we need to switch to second branch. Now we have switched to that. Now what we can do, git merge and then the branch name main, right? So this file have been updated, right? So now I'll go ahead and show you that git log. You can see that this update has been showing here. So this was done from the merge, right? This was done from the rebase. So what actually happened with the rebase, it is not showing here, but with that, when generally when you have a large scale project, you will see that it will not be the sync in that way. But if you're using a merge, so it will show you that when that commit was made, so according to that it is going to appear here, right? I have just run the command one by one, so that's why it is showing in sequence. So this is the actual difference with that merge and rebase. There is one more aspect of merge, that is called the merge conflict. How can we solve that merge conflict and when it's happen actually? So what happen like suppose that we are working on the different branch, like I'm on the second branch right now, and if we are updating any file, like suppose py.py updated from second branch for conflict, right? I'm just saving it. So git commit for name update from second branch. So now we have made the commit from the second branch, right? So this update would not be showing in the main branch. So what we are going to do, git switch main. Sorry, that is spelling error. Git switch main. Now we have switched to the main branch. What we are going to do, we are going to use the same file nano py.py. You can see that update is not here, right? So updating from main for conflict, merge conflict. So I'm using this content just for understanding purpose. If you will understand the basic concept, then you can implement it on the live project easily. So I'm just going to close it, right? So we're gonna commit that, git commit -a m commit from main branch. So we have updated the both files, right? From the main, we have updated the same file. From the second branch, we have updated the same file, right? So definitely it is going to arise the conflict if we are going to merge. So in which branch we are in right now? So we are in the main branch, right? If we want to merge the second branch into the main, so you can see that what error we are going to see, that git merge second. So the conflict has arisen, and now we have to manually fix this issue. So why actually it's happened? Like suppose that you are working on the different branch, right? On the main branch, you have updated the main branch. I have updated that new branch, right? And you want to merge it, but you found that there is some changes on the same file. Automatic merge is getting failed, so that both person can sit together and they can discuss what actually happened. If I'll show you that file, nano, and what was that file? Py.py. Yeah, you can see that this file was, so what is it showing here, that in the head this is what have been updated from that, updating from the main branch, right? Currently we are in the main branch and updated from the second branch. So this was updated from the second branch, this was updated from the main branch. So which one you want to keep? So you need to update that. You can, if you want to keep the both, so you just have to remove this. You want to keep this file, so you need to update. If you want to remove that content, you can do that. So according to whatever you want to make the changes, you can do that, and accordingly then you can save and exit. Now what we can do here, that you have fixed that conflict, so system is going to understand that you have fixed this conflict. Now we are going to make git status. You can see that both file is modified, right? So git add, git commit -m conflict resolved. Now we have resolved the conflict. This is how that we can resolve the conflict. So whenever this only conflicts happen, that when you both, like in the main file, the same file has been modified from the main branch, from the branch which you have taken out, that another branch, and that has been modified. Or if you are working, if you're merging to any branch and that has, the same file has been updated, so the conflict will arise and you need to manually figure out to solve that conflict. So I believe that we have already covered that all aspect of Git. Now we are going to cover the GitHub. This is the GitHub website, right? I've already logged in, but we do not have any repo here. So we are going to create a repo. You can choose any name, that I'm just taking it YouTube, right? This is available. you want to keep the public or private, so I'm just keeping it private for tutorial purpose. If you want to add the readme file, you can add it or you can leave it blank. So just create a repo. So we have already created a new repo on the GitHub website. So what we can do, we need to set up the GitHub on our local system. How can we do that? There is a command that is called the Git Remote. It means that we are going to use the remote functionality. Then we need to add. Then we need to, what we are going to add, we need to give that name. So it is advisable to use that name origin, and then you need to provide the URL, which URL you want to add. So I am using the HTTPS GitHub, and you can see that this is my user ID and this is my Git repo. So I'm going to add this. So it has been added. How can we check that it has been added or not? So git remote -v. It is going to show that the origin, it is for fetch, it is for push. We will explore that. We will let you know that what is fetch, what is push, what is pull. Uh, all is going to be covered, right? So this is what we have added here. Now what we can do here, that if we want to push, right? So whatever that we have added here on the local system, it is going to push on that on our GitHub. So what we can do, git push, and if we have multiple branch, we can use that git all, right? This is going to push all tracked file and the branches to the GitHub repo. If we are going to use like origin main, so only the main file is going to be pushed, right? So what I'm going to do here, that I'm just going to use -all. Now you can see that the both branch has been pushed. I'll go ahead and refresh that. So this is how that you can push, right? And if you want to pull, if we are going to add anything here, right, I'm going to add the readme file, right? Just type adding readme. Commit message, created readme, description, leave it, commit to the main branch. So the main branch, the commit has been made. Now I'll show you the, so this file is not there in that second branch readme, right? You don't see that, but you will see that readme file in the main branch. And we have updated the readme file on which branch, the main branch, right? So how can we pull that? So git pull origin main. Now we can see that the one file have been added. If I'll go ahead and show you that ls, you will see the readme.md file has been added here, right? So this is how that you can pull from the GitHub. So as we have seen that we need to specify the branch name when we are making any changes. So what we can do here, that let's go ahead and see git status. So I'm going to add all the files and which branch we are in right now. So git branch, I'm on the main branch, right? So what I'm going to add, git add all. I'm going to add all the files, git commit -m added all files. So now you can see that all files have been added. So now what we can do, that we are going to push to the main branch, right? So either I already showed you that we have pushed to all, so it is going to push whatever the branch and files, all been tracking files get updated on the GitHub. But if we want to push to the specific branch, what we can do, and we want to set that branch as a by default, that we do not want to, like we can type here origin main, or we can type origin second, right? This is a branch, so we can do that. But if we want to set that by default branch, so what we can do, git push set upstream. Then what we need to do, origin and the main. Whatever the changes have been made, we are going to push to the GitHub on the remote repo, and also we are going to set the origin main as a default branch. We are going to press enter. you can see that it has been updated, right? So now over the main branch, if I'll go ahead and refresh it, you will see that the gitignore file have been added and the HTML file have been added, right? So these two files have been added. The last commit was made 1 minute ago, right? So what we are going to do, if I am going to make any changes now, so the default branch is main. If I am going to make any changes here, let's go ahead and update here. Updated from GitHub. Now commit updated HTML dot, so keep that commit message. Now we have updated that GitHub repo, so we need to check that is there any difference between that, because we are working on the local repo, and we need to check whether there any change or not. So what we can do, we can use that command git fetch. So origin main is the default branch, so it is showing that this is the commit which is the change, right? So what we need to do, that we need to perform the merge in order to sync with that GitHub branch. So what we actually do here, that we can just run the command git pull, and it is going to just fetch and merge the git. There is a difference between that git pull and fetch. The fetch is just going to fetch that changes whether it is the same as your local repo is synced with your GitHub or not, and if it is not, then it is going to show that what commit is missing, right? So it is showing that on the main branch this commit is missing here, right? So you need to merge in order to sync with your GitHub repo, or you can just write that git pull command. It is going to pull, it is going to fetch, and it is going to merge. So both command will be performed together using a git pull. I'm going to show you the git pull. You can see that HTML file has been added. I have not provided any origin, any main, or any branch name, because we have already set up that the main is the default branch, right? So we have already set up that is the reason it got updated here. Now if I'll go ahead and check the git fetch, you will see that there is no change. I'm going to make another changes. I'll show you that how we can updating it for fetch and merge. Commit with the same as update readme. Now it's done, right? So I'll go ahead and show you that. Again, git fetch, you will see the changes. Now you can see that this is the changes of the main branch, right? So what we need to do, git merge, and we need to specify the branch if there is a no, that branch is not set up for default. So git merge, I'm just keeping it intro, and you can see the readme, the one file have been updated, right? We want to delete that any remote branch. What we can do here, that we need to type git push origin -d and then the branch name. So second is the branch name, just enter, and you can see that that second branch has been deleted from there, right? If I'll go ahead and show you, refresh that. Now we have only the main branch. So we have deleted the remote branch. Now how to create a branch on the remote? So what we need to do, we need to create git branch first, right? So I have created branch. Let's show you the git branch. So I have main and first. What we need to do, so git push all. So you can see that new branch has been created, right? So this is how that you can create a remote branch over there, and this is how that you can manage git push pull. And if you want to delete that, so you can just run the same command git branch and delete first. Now it got deleted, right? Only the main branch is here. Now we are going to check how many branch we have, right? So git branch, if you want to check only remote, so you want to just type -r. It is just going to show that origin main is the only branch we have. If we want to show the git branch -a, it is going to show that local and the remote both branch. If you want to only just track the remote branch, just -r. I want to just let you know that clone, how can we use the clone. So clone is something that we want to copy, like if you want to copy this repo, this is the address for git, right? So I'm just going to here use git clone. So it is just going to create a copy of this file on my local repo. So this has been created here. Now if I'll show you the ls, you will see that the YouTube directory, if I'll change to YouTube ls, you will see that all the files are here. This is what actually the clone is, that you can just copy someone's code to your local system. We have been using HTTPS for fetch, pull and push. So now we want to set up the secured shell, right? It has not been set up yet. So how can we set up that? So there is a command which we need to use, SSH hyphen keygen, then hyphen T, then RSA, then hyphen B 4096, then hyphen capital C here, and then you need to type your email address which you want to generate for. So I'm just keeping it youtube@gmail.com. Now it is generating a public or as a private key. So you need to type, if you want to set up that any different location, this is the location for this file, right? If you're okay with that, just type enter. If you want to set up any password, that whenever you want to make push pull, so you need to type that password in order to make changes to this directory. But if you're keeping it blank, so it will not ask for password. So I'm just keeping it blank, again the blank. So now the key has been generated here. So where the key is there, you can see the public key is available here, ID, RSA, PUB. Now we have set up the SSH, so we can use that SSH hyphen add. Then we need to provide the path where the RSA is there. So this is the path, just copy it here and paste it here. Oh, I'm sorry that I have given a space here. There a space should not be there. SSH add is the command. Now identity added, right? So this is what it have been added here, youtube@gmail.com. Now what we need to do here, that we need to just copy that public key. So what we need to do, pb copy, then we need to provide less than sign, then we need to provide that root path for that public key. So it is user, so user public key. So we are just copying it, public key here. Very rarely being used. That is the reason that I am making some. So either you can provide that home directory, or you can just type, like if I want to use the home directory, so I have to remove this path. So it is going to take from home, because this is my home directory, right? User and img, this is the home directory. So from home, and then this is the path. Like I have added here that I have given the full path, but I am giving here the home directory, and then this is the path. So copying it here, now it got copied. So what we need to do here, then we need to go to the GitHub account, go to setting, then we will find that SSH and GPV. So we need to add the new SSH key. It's going to ask for title, so you can see that, like already have the test SSH, and we need to type the control V. We already copied that, so we are going to add it now. It will ask my password. Let's see. Yeah, so it got added here. The test SSH key, the name, this is SSH key. Now we have set up the SSH key here. What we need to do here, that we need to run the another command, SSH, then -t, then git @ github.com. So this has been added here. Now what we need to do, or you want to show through connecting this? I want to yes. I have to type yes. Successfully authenticated. The Git does not provide that shell access, right? So we have added this website. We have added this website here. Now we want to add this Git repo, right? Git Remote add. What we are adding? This is what we are adding here. SSH origin, and then we need to provide the URL of that repo. SSH URL of that repo. So we can go ahead and copy this. So what is the difference? It is showing the git @github.com. It is showing HTTPS. So that is the difference. So we can just type git and this is the repo name and enter. So now it got added. If I'll go ahead and show you that git remote -v, you will see that there is a SSH origin, which is fetch and push. If we want to set that to this one is the default URL for that push and pull, so we can just do git remote set URL, and then provide that URL. I'm sorry, I made some mistake. So we have to provide that where we want to set. We want to set at origin, right? So now we are setting the remote URL. We can go ahead and check that git remote -v. Now you can see that git HTTPS has been removed. Now we have set that new URL. Now that any push and push will be changed with that only SSH URL only. Both are referring to the same URL. So what we can do here, that we want to remove the one. So git remote remove, and what was that? SSH origin. Now if we go ahead and check, we have only one origin here. So if you want to add anything, then we can use the same command like git remote add and git remote add, and then the origin name like SSH origin, and then the URL. You can type that or any name, you can choose that and you can add it, and this is how that you can remove that. So I believe that we have covered almost all the things. It was very long, but I believe that we have tried to cover all that aspects so that you will never get stuck anywhere. If you have any issues and if you want any more clarification on any topic, you can just comment it out. We will try our best to answer it. So thank you so much for watching. Have a blessed day.